Everyone tells you to build a village, but what happens when your village wants a key to your house? Like you're in your lazy Saturday fit, and then a surprise knock comes at your door. And then after that, there are comments made about how your house looks, a helpful opinion about your finances, or maybe some comments that are making you feel a bit guilty for not coming over for Friday family dinner. And then suddenly you find yourself no longer enjoying your day off. Rather, you're managing a family that you didn't even grow up in. In-laws are one of the most consistent sources of conflict I see at my practice. You may have thought during your wedding planning that they're a bit overbearing, but it's okay. I'm not marrying them. I'm marrying their child, my spouse. And when we're married, things are gonna change. But see, that's the trap. Because your marriage isn't just about the person you pick. It's also about the system they grew up in. Early marriage is a network of family systems reorganizing themselves and adjusting to the new status quo. And ignoring that is ignoring what you can do to prevent resentment from building. Today, we're diving into managing the in-laws and how to tackle the 3 most common issues I see. My name is Mike JADE, and welcome to Your Brain. You might think that your marriage is just about you and your spouse, right? But early marriage is simply not. It's networked, it's families, it's histories, it's expectations. It's setting the stage about if this marriage is going to be a new household or a branch off of someone else's. And to ensure that this marriage acts as a new household, you need to tackle 3 different camps. 1 is boundary design, 2 is marital alignment, and 3, regulation and repair. The goal of these is to build borders for your new household while keeping the door open for support. Borders, not walls. Most people fail at boundaries because they think that boundaries are just saying no and a stern wall without a way in. You know you have a boundary design problem if they come up as reactivity, if they come up as reactions to issues, or that you're only using them in a yes or no framework. Or lastly, you might notice that every boundary you try to set turns into an argument. The good thing is we know a cure for this. Minuchin is the creator of structured family therapy. They describe boundaries more like a doorbell rather than a wall. You don't have to leave your door wide open for anyone to come in, but you also don't need to board it up like a fortress either. You can check the Ring camera, you can see who's there, and you can decide if it's a good time to either open up the door or to speak through the intercom. To construct this requires a real fun conversation about boundaries with your spouse. A good boundary with in-law covers several layers. Yeah, first is access, like who's gonna get access to our couple, to the house, or to the children. Is it an open door policy or is it invitation only? Then there's timing, especially around holidays. This is a really hot topic. A study showed that there's a strong relationship between allocation of time and divorce rates. So hammering this out is paramount. Are we doing drop-ins or scheduled visits? Are holidays planned a day ahead of time or a month or 2 ahead of time? Third, this is about channels. This is who talks to who. A really good rule of thumb is that each partner should lead the communication with their own family. This is a protective measure to prevent triangulation from happening. We'll get into what triangulation is later. The last part of boundaries to consider is consequences. If, or rather when, a boundary is ignored, what happens? This is where you two get to teach your own nervous systems to hold the line the best way that they can and still be connected. If you see my video on the 5 premarital talks, you already likely know how to have these conversations. If not, pause here, then go back and watch that. Welcome back. Or not if you didn't leave. Did you leave? In this day and age, staying with the video this long is an accomplishment. So I mean, kudos if you did, and extra kudos if you left, watched that video, and came back. Okay, but back to setting boundaries. The long and short of setting boundaries is that you need to understand JADE. You don't need to justify your boundaries, argue them, defend them, or explain them. They are set, okay? Instead, you want to consider the BIFF protocol. Keep them brief, keep them informative, keep them friendly, and keep them firm. That can look like blah, 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 with the baby, you should do this, okay? Hey, thank you. I know you care and we love that you do. We are lucky to have your support. We're gonna keep doing it this way. We can definitely use your help with meals, watching the baby while we nap, folding the laundry. Remember, you don't have to over-explain or apologize for anything here. And what helps is that you and your partner are on the same page here. Okay, what you want to do instead is not say no, but give them an instead option for them to still be involved and still participate how they want, but in a way that you're okay with. Let's talk about the couple bubble. You need to create something called the couple bubble, okay? This means that you guys are on the same page for expectations and on the same team when conflicts do arise. Without a couple bubble, every boundary is going to become me versus you, or me and my family versus you. The uncomfortable truth is a lot of in-law conflict is actually a loyalty test. And this comes down to a concept by Bowen called the differentiation of self. This is one's own ability to remain connected to your family without being emotionally hijacked to them. If you have low differentiation, you get triangulation. What that looks like is when a parent pulls you into a conflict or a want to stabilize their own anxieties. If you notice that much of your decisions are to manage other people's emotions instead of prioritizing yours and your spouse's, that's enmeshment. You're so tangled up in your family of origin, you can't make decisions without checking with them. Your own relationship is stunted because we got other family members pulling you away from it, your spouse and more like your roommate, and that your real commitment is your marriage to your parents. Here's the hard truth. If your partner refuses to get in your couple bubble with you, if they leave you out in the cold to manage their parents alone, you don't have an in-law problem. You have a marriage problem, and that requires a really different conversation. Here's a fun little exercise you can try with your partner. Next time you guys disagree, count how many times you say I versus we. See, a study on linguistics showed that couples who use we talk words like we, us, our, have a higher psychological regulation during conflict. That's because you guys are viewing it as a union issue rather than a me versus you issue. And just being aware of your language will naturally force you to use more collaborative language, which takes us to the final camp, regulations and repair. Even with a perfect boundary, families can still push. So how do we stay regulated? Because if we're not, we'll explode, we'll shut down, or we'll relinquish autonomy and just people please. And none of those help build a stable marriage. Staying regulated is harder than it may sound because family conflict doesn't just feel annoying, it feels like rejection. And your nervous system processes that the same as physical pain. In those situations where the rejection is feeling hurtful, this is where I really like acceptance and commitment therapy, and specifically the metaphor of passenger on the bus. I want you to imagine you're driving a bus. Your family's opinions are like loud passengers on the bus. They can yell, they can complain, they can even criticize, but you're the driver. You can acknowledge, yeah, they're loud. That's really annoying, and you can still keep your hands on the wheel. Same with guilt. Guilt is a feeling, not a command. It is the same feeling of breaking an old enmeshed pattern. Thank your brain for trying to protect you with that guilt and then keep driving the bus. After the fact, it's time to check in with your couple bubble. A 2-minute check is all that's needed. And to do this check, you just need 2 prompts. What did you need from me back there? And what do you want us to do differently next time? No blame, no fact checking, just adjustments and support. Look, every family system is unique. Some of this might not work for your specific village, but let's recap. If the in-laws are the problem, it's usually one of 3 buckets. There's either an issue with your boundary design, an issue with your couple alignment, or an issue with your regulations and repair. Build boundaries, assign roles, and stay out of triangles. Use we, okay? And plan for your nervous system. And now I want to ask you something. If your family was totally calm and totally respectful, what boundaries would you still set? Let me know below. My name is Mike JADE, and I'm happy you're here. See ya.